Hi students, I am Bazi from Meslova Dizzy Classroom. In previous sessions, we discussed about or we learned about different types of adaptations by plants and animals in various conditions of land. Now we have to understand how the organisms like plants and animals and they adopt a vast system that is water ecosystem. Whether it may be a salt water or fresh water, or it may be a running water or standing water. How they adapt in various types of conditions at the upper surface of the sea or depth of the ocean that is dark. Over the last 2000 million years, the plants and animal life on this planet continuously evolved at the beginning of life, which takes place in the water, and it evolved into a complex evolution extended to land till now. Even today also, it's a big challenge to face water ecosystem, because if you see, we humans, we are bolting on land, but one of the problem that is gravity, which always grab, and it is one of the major problem in ocean, that is each and every organism, they always fight with gravity and different types of conditions like salinity. And salinity is which influencing on the concentrations of body fluids like blood and urine. And also, if you see the temperature, it indirectly or directly influence the seasonal variations and reproductive phases and different types of problems in various types of zones from Arctic to temperate or tropical regions. Like gravity, the pressure, it's lot of pressure. When you go deep down into the sea, we will face lot of pressure, lot of tons of pressure on each square of our body. But the organisms present in the deep sea, they will face the pressure. And another problem, that is light. The light, which plays very important role in production of food and recycling of material within the complete system, that is water system. In water, almost all the organisms facing these type of common problems, and at a time, and also they will face different types of problems, especially that is floating, otherwise they will may die. They always try to float, and according to their requirement, each and every organism adapting and modifying its body parts and use its body parts to swim or to float on the water and or to fight with the gravity. These organisms have different types of special parts, like presence of certain air spaces or certain substances in their body, or fins or flippers or floaters in their body, and these are special type of organs which are present in their body to float. If you observe in certain algae or certain phytoplankton, they have droplets of oil in their body to float. And in the same manner, the plants have a flexible stem and also a thick leaf without stomata, and they will reach to the upper surface and they have to perform photosynthesis. We have to understand in detail about both freshwater as well as saltwater adaptations in different organisms. The saltwater adaptation or saltwater system we also called marine ecosystem, which consisting of both seas and ocean. And this ocean water is very vast. Almost all the earth surface, about 70% of our earth surface is covered by water, these oceans only. This is a vast ecosystem in which number of species of organisms are found, and we may find different types of organisms and different types of adaptations, and how they are modifying according to conditions we may found in this vast ecosystem, that is ocean. Till now, the scientists identify only 230,000 species are known to us which are present in ocean. Each form of marine life has adapting with a specific relatively narrow variation in their salinity, temperature, light and pressure, and these are common conditions which influencing on the adaptations of organisms in the ocean water. Organisms which are present in ocean always fight with gravity, otherwise they may sink or die. For this they adopt to float or to swim, and they have different types of adaptations for swimming and floating. The organism swims and float in marine ecosystem in different conditions. For that they adopt different types of body parts with low energy consumption. You know, the fish swims through water by creating undulations with their bodies or oscillating their fins. Different fish swims by undulating different parts of their body. Certain undulate their entire body in rhythmic way. Certain uses only tail, or certain uses their fore and hind fins, and they beat and create propulsion in water to swim. In some fishes it has gas bladder for buoyancy. They move up by secreting gas into bladder from blood to float. When they move down, the gas absorbed into blood and they sink. Certain amphibians shows anguilliform movements. The shrimps and prawns swims by using their tentacles and swimming legs. The octopus squids swims their head first with arms trailing behind. Jellyfish pulsate their bell for a type of jet locomotion. The scallops swim by clapping their two shells open and close. Sea snake, through its pedal shaped body structure, it swims around the water, and it creates a special type of undulating movement in their body for swimming. The slowest moving fishes are sea horses, which move with the friction of surrounding waters. The tortoise are using their flaps for swimming and collecting food in the oceans. The hydrodynamic lift is very necessary to maintain buoyancy, otherwise they may sink or die. Hence they developed gas-filled bladders or floaters in their body, especially we seen in upper and middle zones of the marine organisms. In dolphins, the floaters are present in their digestive canal. In the same manner, the sharks and whales are adapting in this manner. Whereas at deep sea level, they have ossified bones, that means gas-filled bones and liquid tissues and flat bodies, and these are very necessary to overcome the pressure at deep sea level. Another problem in the sea level is the pressure and the salinity. You know, salinity and pressure both are interrelated. The salinity itself is a problem in marine ecosystem. You know, the salt water exerts enormous pressure on the body surface of different types of organisms present in the depth of the sea. Especially it influencing on pressure on their body fluids like blood and urine. And this is due to osmoregulation, that is called as osmosis. You know what is osmosis? Osmosis is nothing but concentration variation in the fluids. The fluid moves from low concentration to high concentration. That means if you take a salt water system in which organism present, the blood concentration or body fluid concentration is very low when compared to the medium concentration, that is salt water concentration. This is one of the problem facing by marine organisms, that is osmosis. The salt concentration is very high, but body fluid concentration is very low. Hence, the dilute form of body fluids always they are try to reaching to the high concentration solution. And it means what happens, fish or the organism present in the oceans always face the problem of dehydration. Hence, they drink plenty of water to maintain their hydration level in their body, and this is one of the problem. Hence the fish present in the seawater always drink, and they release salt through their gills, and certain salt secreting glands are present to exert lot of salt from their body. This is the major problem facing by the fish in the water, especially in the ocean. To overcome this type of problem in the seawater, they developed special type of organs in their body, especially the kidneys, gills, and certain salt secreting glands, which are maintaining the complete osmoregulation in their body fluids. Due to this type of special adaptations, organisms present in the oceans, they face enormous pressure. Whenever if you dive into the seawater, what happens, at the upper surface we face only normal pressure, that is 1 atmosphere, that means 14.5 pounds per square inch area. If you dive down deep into the water, for every 33 feet or every 10.6 meters, what happens, 1 atmospheric pressure will increase on our body. At the deepest zones, what happens, our body will not sustain, they will collapse, and the water will crush the entire bones and muscles of our body. But the organisms present in the ocean, they face enormous pressure due to the special adaptations in bony structures, especially the cartilage bones are developed very well, like whales, sperm whales, and certain giant organisms. They deep down into their deepest zones of the sea to hunt different types of squids or other organisms. This type of adaptations allow even a sperm whale to hunt a squid up to the depth of 7,000 feet, and this type of adaptations are very important to sustain in deep sea zone. Due to this type of special adaptations, organisms takes oxygen from the water. And how these organisms are facing this pressure, it is a simple technique, a simple mechanism of adaptation, that is they collapse their lungs. Whenever they are moved to the surface, they take deep breath and they store the entire oxygen into their muscles instead of their lungs. Only small amount of oxygen present in the lungs and maximum amount of oxygen stored in their muscles. This is a simple adaptation by these giant organisms to overcome the pressure, and they collapse their lungs at the deepest zone. Hence they sustain. Organisms like seals, dolphins, sperm whales, and other giant organisms, they are present in the deepest zones as well as surface of the water. Like salinity and pressure, the temperature and light both are relatively connected, and these two are also influencing factors on adaptations of organisms in the water. Scientists identified 25 key areas in the world, ranging from icy Arctic to temperate waters and to the tropic regions and then to the Arctic. The temperature vary from region to the region and also from the surface to the depth of the ocean. There is different zones are present in the sea. The marine life developed many types of adaptations to the temperature. Certain organisms have bladders to insulate their body, and certain have antifreezing agents in their blood to keep flowing, like penguins, walruses, and seals. This temperature is also depends on the penetration of light in various zones of the sea. Depends on that penetration, it demarcated into different zones. These zones are divided on the basis of availability of light. From the upper surface to the depth of 200 meters, this region we called as euphotic zone. The light leads very brightly in this zone. About 30 degrees of temperature is maintained in this zone. 80% of marine life present only in this zone. Here animals and plants have rich access to nutrients and reduced pressure, increased temperature, and they have more light to do photosynthesis and to circulate energy and matter within the system, and all these abiotic factors which influence on both plants and animals life. Most of the organisms present in this zone are floaters and swimmers. They have sharp vision. The plants are mostly green like seaweeds, seagrasses, and phytoplanktons like algae and different types of other organisms and other species of marine life have rich sources of light which makes them to produce high nutrients and consume most of the carbon dioxide from atmosphere and also from the water. Most of the organisms in this zone have shiny bodies. Some flora and fauna of this zone are trout, herrings, dolphins, jellyfish, flying fish, green turtles, and different types of coral colonies and different polyps which are extremely colorful. These are sedimentary and rooted to sites, especially in the continental shelf regions. That means shallow water bodies or shallow water zones. Especially if you see the Great Barrier Reef, which is present in Australia, and this is made up of colonies of corals. From the depth of 200 meter to 2000 meters, this zone has a dim light and the temperature is about 4 to 39 degrees centigrade, and this zone we called as Bethel zone, or it also called as twilight zone. Here plants and animals does not have much access to nutrients, and also they have lot of pressure, cold waters, low temperature, and also dark zones and dim light. Due to this dim light, the activity of photosynthesis is very low. Only certain plants like brown or red kelps are only present in this zone. The animals with tubular bodies like squids, lanternfish, octopus, sea cucumbers, large organisms like whales and sharks are present. Some of these have a flat body like the rayfish. They may have big eyes sensitive to light. In this zone, a rich competition to safety, protection, reproduction, and these are the major hurdles to survive. All organisms in this zone, they adapt according to their requirements. The other zones of dark water where we cannot reach, that is the deepest zone of the sea or ocean, and it has lots of tons of pressure on each and every inch of area. This is called as deepest zone, which is ranging from 2000 to 6000 meters of the depth. The temperature is about 2 to 3 degrees centigrade. It has cold and dark region with scarce nutrients. The animals face lots of problems or lots of pressure, in which mostly the predators and scavengers. Absence of skeleton or body structures and flattened bodies may observed in this zone. They have wide mouth and huge curved teeth which prevents escape of prey from them. Some also have structures that produce light on their bellies, around their eyes, and at the sides of their bodies. They glow in dark waters. It is called as bioluminescence. We may observe the animals like starfish, brittle fish or brittle stars, angelfish, tripod fish, etc. These are various types of adaptations in various conditions or various zones of the sea, from upper surface to the depth of the ocean, due to variations in the conditions like salinity, temperature, light, pressure, etc. We will discuss different types of other marine adaptations, especially the camouflage strategies, which is very important for escape, and also the freshwater system in next session. Bye bye students.